tell you the story of my best friend, who I am going to keep anonymous, and her story with having an eating disorder. Quote, "My story with my eating disorder started back when I was 12 years old. I started to gain weight as a normal pubescent girl would, but mine came on a lot sooner than the girls at my school. I started growing out of the clothes that my mom had just barely bought me, and I couldn't understand why. This same year, I started cheerleading. I remember going to cheer tryouts and feeling like the biggest outcast. I was bigger than everyone else, or so I thought. I remember seeing the older girls and seeing how skinny and fit they all were. I thought to myself, I have to be that way. I need to be skinnier than I am right now. Normal 12-year-olds wouldn't have that thought. At my first cheer practice, the coach asked everyone what position they wanted to be regarding stunting, and I told her that I wanted to be a flyer so bad. If you're unfamiliar with that term, it's the girl who was in the air during the stunting. My coach then proceeded to laugh at me and told me that there was no way I was going to be a flyer and that they needed much smaller girls to do that. This confused me. I never told anyone how I was feeling either. From that day on, I started restricting myself from food, starting at a small amount to not eating main meals. I wouldn't eat breakfast or lunch because I knew my family wouldn't notice. And I would tell my mom that I had a really big lunch and breakfast and eat very small portions at dinner. I was probably eating around 200 to 500 calories a day, which is very unhealthy. My mom started noticing how skinny I was getting, and I did too. I was so excited that I was finally making what I called progress. My mom thought it was just a normal part of puberty. She thought that I was losing the weight that I had just gained, until she noticed my self-harming happening as well. I got down to about 75 pounds as a 9th grader, and although that doesn't seem too small, but I was very tall, so I was very underweight. I remember hoping someone would notice my pain because I was not happy. I was trying so hard to be happy and skinny at that time. Everything felt heavy. I began a downward spiral into depression my sophomore year of high school. I was finally a flyer, but I still did not feel that sense of happiness that I was looking for. I attempted suicide, and that was my cry for help. My family was so caring, and I could never repay them for all that they did. It was a very long road to recovery, but it was so worth it. I ended up going to a 3-month recovery program, and I made some really good friends there. It was really hard for me, but I'm so glad that I did it. Now I am healthy and happy. I'm 23 years old, married, and hope to have kids someday. I hope my story can help someone else struggling. Don't be afraid to reach out and ask for help, and if you ever suspect that someone has an eating disorder, reach out to them and be a caring, listening ear." End of quote.